I'm Jordan Reed, and you're watching Halagonia Sports on halagonia.ca.
It was fantastic. You just, it seems like right now whatever Laval touches turns to gold in terms of their organization, in terms of their preparation, in terms of their presentation. And, everybody I talked to that was at the game thought it was unbelievable. And the CIS, I had some chats with some people in the CIS, and they were a little concerned that because Laval wasn't there, that they were going to have a bunch of empty seats. But, kudos to the Laval fans for coming out.
Mm. What was the story of that game, the Vanier Cup?
I thought
Did you get a chance to see it?
Yeah, I sat home and had a chance to watch it, and I thought, coaching decisions, it's funny to be a coach now and second guess another coach, but I thought in the third quarter, Calgary should have taken the win. They had the momentum in that part of the game. They could have probably buried Queens at that time, and when they didn't, the whole table swung, and taking 2 timeouts within the first 3 or 4 minutes of the second half came back to bite them as well. They needed those timeouts later in the game, and and then on the flip side, Pat Sheehan and his staff did a fantastic job going in the second half and being calm and not panicking whatsoever, sticking to their game plan, and in the end it paid off for them.
Have you ever seen a quarterback like Danny Brannigan? I've never seen anybody stand back there. It's like a statue, and then he just threw it. I've never seen anybody that calm.
I've never seen that in my life. When we recruited him, 5 years ago, I guess, that's how we performed then, and even to this day, nothing has changed. He doesn't get very deep in his drop, so his offensive line, has done a spectacular job for him, and he's got an incredibly strong arm because he barely steps into his throw. And no, I've never seen the likes of it. It's he's fun to watch and just so calm and cool. Like even after the game when they won and they were interviewing him, he was just so. He had a little smile on his face, but there was no jumping up and down for sure. And the skill set that Jack brings to the table, he still does. I think there's still levels of maturity that have to come with that. And I think a lot of it has to do with just his own confidence. I sometimes believe that he's so laid back sometimes that he doesn't mentally get focused enough. I thought he started the game poorly, and he made some bad decisions throughout the game. And like you say, the same thing happened against Western. And we have an off season now to try to make him more confident in the decisions he makes. Because when he sits there and we chat, he knows, okay, when I get this coverage, I'm going to make this read and that. And I think it's still a little bit of lack of experience, but he's still at that point now where he's going into his third year, and this is the year most guys start to excel.
Will we ever know, let's talk about the Grey Cup, will we ever know who the 13th rider was? Or was that just, you're on the sidelines, was that 2 coaches yelling 2 different things?
Yeah, I think so. It was obvious they had to get the ball out of the end zone. So, that was the first thing. So they had to have somebody back as a returner, because I know guys were saying, the Armstead was in the end zone. I think, we try to keep it consistent that our free safety comes off the field and our returner goes on the field. Just as a consistent thing, keep our defense on the field in these situations. They might have had some other changes that, for a block or a return, depending on the situation. But boy, oh boy, I remember sitting there, and as soon as I saw the flag came out, I went, oh no, that's 13 men, because the back judge calling that, I said, they're getting another kick. And that was before he even kicked. As soon as I saw the flag go up, I went, oh no, I've lived this. I've been here in this situation. This is bad. And you feel bad for Kavis. He's going to wear it as the special teams coordinator. But, in the heat of the moments of those games, sometimes these things happen. And you can practice all you want, but, it's a tough go.
Do you think about that as a coach, knowing that you might win 5, you might have a great career, you put all your life into a career, but your career might come down as the major footnote being you made a critical mistake that cost your team a championship.
Look at Chris Webber, with the timeout, and it's a shame to think that those moments stick out more than all of those really good moments. But that's one of those ones that you would hate to have to wear for the rest of your career. That's Again, I must say I thought Florida was going to beat Alabama until I watched the game and realized that Alabama's lines are so impressive. And after watching Nebraska and how do you say his name, Sook?
Yes, yeah.
Have 4.5 sacks, and Nebraska have 9 sacks against Texas. I think it's going to be Alabama by two touchdowns. Yeah, I like Colt McCoy. I think he's fantastic, but if they can't protect and he's running for his life, then they have no chance.
Please report to the press box area to claim your catch.
One downside of this conference that way back when we hated, and when after the interlock we've been so spoiled that even as coaches we sat around and talked about it, and it was like, oh no, having to play each other and that many times. So I think what they're trying to do is from the previous year look at the first and third playing in the second and fourth, and hopefully that'll spread things out a little bit so that when you get to playoff time that you won't have the 4-game this season. We had to do one year. I think we ended up playing. I think in 2001, I think we played Acadia 5 times or something. Just the way the things worked out, and it was just it's tough. It really is. And from a coaching standpoint, the motivation factor for your players, if you're winning those games, or if you're on the flip side and you're losing those games, and you're going in and you're thinking, oh boy, we got a tough motivational thing to get them going. The other side is, teams change up so much because everybody is trying to keep things fresh so that you're not going against the same thing. So, a lot of halftime and sideline adjustments are so important in these games. You actually work harder, believe it or not, when you play a team 3 or 4 times, but which seems funny because you think you would know them. But it's like those guys in the CFL. 5-6 times they play those teams, and you have to be ready. Where in the OUA, you play a team once, move to the next one, and most teams don't really change up as much.
Do you think this is the last time Quebec re-signs, or do you think they'll come to the table again?
I think they'll come to the table if we can somehow motivate some of the other schools in the area to get a team. If we don't, I think we might be on the last legs of this for sure.
Any news of anybody, UNB?
It doesn't. It's interesting. It sounds like the two that seem most prominent, UNB and Dal, are the farthest, and teams like Moncton and UPEI are obviously. I'm starting to hear a little bit of closed door behind the grumblings that there might be some possibilities. So, which would be fantastic. I mean, 6 teams, and then having Quebec have 6 teams and still do an interlock would be outstanding.
Do you think this is this? You get a little paranoid that this is just people behind closed doors in administration who are saying, you know what, we don't want the extra work. It's too much work. Do you get that feeling?
Yeah, definitely. Especially, and I guess I should be careful picking on Dal, but only hearsay stuff I hear. But when the alumni has gone forward and talked to the administration and said, you know what, we're prepared to fund this and run this, and they're like, no, we're happy with the teams we have, and you don't know if that's 100% true, but boy, it's kind of depressing to think it is. I always am a firm believer that the best kickoff to your entire school year is the football season. I think it sets a great tempo for your student body. I think all of those things. A little biased, mind you, but I really believe that you need those kind of things to develop your school spirit, and I think down the road it only enhances your alumni.